People, welcome to the miseducation of UK jazz dance. For those who are teaching around the world, if you don't have an understanding of the legacy of the leaders of UK jazz dance, you are spreading negatives about this art form. If you don't have knowledge on the political, economic, technological, environmental, and legal development of UK jazz dance, you are spreading negatives about this art form. If you don't know the social development, the physical development, the intellectual, the cultural, emotional development, you are spreading negatives about this art form. If you don't know about the dance hall development, because in the dance hall, the clothes that our parents wore were jazzy from the beginning, 1954, when dance hall came to Britain as an individual. The history of reggae music, dub, was influenced by modern jazz, cool and bebop jazz. It was influenced the reggae artists and the reggae industry to create its own music industry, was influenced by them as individual. If you don't understand how the dancers took the dance and took it to festivals to raise the prestige, the profile and the status, to break negative long-held stereotypes about the dance not having no validation, the dance having no technique, which is one of the things that came up, the dance not showing dancers not having no technical ability or background, then you are perpetuating negative stereotypes. If you don't understand there's dance artists out there as an individual that actually created flying solo shows, the one-man show, one-woman show around the art form, then you as an individual perpetuating negative stereotypes. If you don't understand there's dancers who have gone out of their way and not been written in the key book that's written on UK jazz dance by individuals from the north of England, particularly individuals who push the boundaries of this art form, introducing it to African, introducing it to tap, clog, reel, hornpipe, Russian dance, basically European folk dance, British European dance, as an individual, introduce it to disco, funk, reggae, martial arts as an individual. Individuals went out their way to learn African dancing and show people the connections between African dancing and jazz, connections between the rumba dance, Cuban dance. Who are Cubans? They were West Indians in this country, not been acknowledged by key people, like example, that of Giles Peterson went all the way to Cuba, but there's actually people from Cuba in Britain. There were people from Cuba from the 1600s, from the 17th and 18th century, they were in Britain, and many of the West Indians went to Cuba. Jamaica is a part of Cuba which is Jamaican, and so what you have a one-sided perspective of religious understanding and drumming being given to people like Cuba's all Spanish, and it's all Spanish oriented. It isn't, because there's Catholics there that live there as individuals. It's important that people understand. And all Portuguese, that's not correct, because Jamaicans are in there, and you have to know north, south, and east and west of Cuba. We should be given a true picture, as well as Brazil. Most important, you should know this capoeira was in Jamaica, Martinique, and it's called La Agua. It was called, and Catherine Dunham in 1930 did some film to show the dances that people danced. And my teacher Thomas Alajide told me about that dancing was all over the Caribbean. This is me as a person lecturing as an individual. The most important thing I really want to share with individuals in the sense of what needs to be done in sense of miseducation. I wrote some notes, and the notes were blue notes on UK jazz dance history as an individual. I wanted to share people real talk on freestyle dance, culture, and the legacy of leadership. Unknown to many individuals, is that the dancers self-trained themselves from the home. Each pioneer dancer self-trained themselves from home. Every city knows who were the original pioneers, who were the innovators, and everybody knows who the copiers were. I was an innovator. I never copied anybody. I was a pioneer. I never copied anybody. I was an innovator of my own learning, thinking, and development. Me and my brother had our own style. We platformed events. We as an individual created a group called Body Function. Body Function was the first theatrical and avant-garde group. As an individual, I've been involved in UK jazz dance from 1975 to 2020. And what happens is there's no authoritative book that actually identifies Manchester's leading dancers. And what happened, have not talked about the significance of our culture in Manchester. It brought the best dancers. I've seen the best dancers in history in my city. I've seen the best dancers in Birmingham. I've seen the best dancers in Preston. I've seen the best dancers in Birmingham. Birmingham particularly is a massive, huge, inspirational place for all dancers. I've seen the best battlers. I've seen innovators who push the boundaries of the dance, dancing 7-8 hours at a time. I've seen them through me living in Manchester. Most people in London never saw, most dancers today have never seen the dancers have never seen Northern dancers, but we saw them as the individuals, either in our city and for us travelling to their city. All of us, every city had a 7-day week culture, and that 7-day week culture of UK jazz dancing stemmed from the people's homes. There was dancers that stayed in people's home in different cities. Yeah, people unaware that people have cousins in Birmingham, people have cousins in London, because I had people in Birmingham and London, friends in London. Do you understand? As an individual, I travelled through the UK dancing, also travelling through sound system, because sound systems were part of the first individuals, one of the first individuals to where young people start to travel city to city and stay in people's homes. This is forgotten as individual, but jazz musicians were the first to do that. That's what people need to understand, because jazz musicians were touring here from 40s. People need to understand 46 to 72 was modern jazz. There was a touring route from north to south, east and west of the UK, which is forgotten about as an individual. I self-trained myself, which people forgot, to be a director, producer of this art form. And I'm lecturing on the miseducation of UK jazz dance, because it's unacceptable that key writers who should know better have written in our art form from a stereotypical point of view. The most important thing was people have made out that Western society Western DJs were the one that promoted this music throughout the country. They did not do that. What happened was the dancers were the most influential because they spread tapes. Just like house was spread through tapes and hip hop was spread through tapes, UK jazz dancers spread tapes. I was one of them dancers, was known for master cut tapes and for reel to reels. I had pen pals all around the world that I sent tapes to. So in 1978, I had tapes of the new music that we listened to, and I had a small tape recorder. I brought that to Spain with me because I'd never been without not practicing every day. So what happened was, when I went to Spain, I was a top disco dancer. I've trained people. People said, your dancing is different. I said, the reason it's different because I do what UK jazz dance. That time we called jazz dancing. They didn't know we danced to jazz fusion, jazz funk, and soul jazz. Here's a tape. When I came back, I had a list of people and I had addresses of people to send tapes to. I sent them tapes and they sent me tapes. That is how the music spread. It came through the dancers. The dancers showed people the moves, because you see how it spreads. The dance and music has to be together, not just picking up the music. So that's how dancers got popular, and the dancers were getting opportunities to go in Europe. Then I went into Europe. I met people from Europe, a few young Christian workers in London in 1980, as well as cultural groups in Brixton. We shared dance through dance hall, outside park events. Because remember, who was the most free expressive people to do that? Was actually West Indians, the people who made the dance. People used to meet every Sunday in the park, did we not? That's how we spread the dancing. That's right. What happened in 86 when Ghetto Blasters came, that just changed the whole concept of everything, totally, for me as a person. And that's how we spread the music. I had one with a record player in it and a tape recorder. So I got people, bring your records, let me tape a track of it. Because I was very particular, I don't want the whole album. I want to hear bits of it. And that's what I did. And I shared tapes with individuals. That's what we did. And I'm not about one group gets the acknowledgement for UK jazz dance spreading it. I'm about equality in who spread it. The dancers did in an unprecedented way, and their story has not been spoken about. A DJ took stories from dancers, but he never asked the right questions. And so he wanted a certain story to come from the dancers for them to actually, the dancers never realized they wrote themselves out of their own legacy. That is why as a dancer, I created my own program. I created my own project. Yeah, I created my own project and started to do lectures. Look before you leap, to involve yourself in people's books or in their writing. I created my own project, and that project was, boom, acts of achievement. And that, yes, we can write our own acts of achievements. We can explore, devise, and create our own learning materials, because the learning materials that are out there on UK Jazz Dance are falsified. They're not comprehensive, and they've deliberately been stereotyped and come from a biased writer who didn't want blacks to be acknowledged for their acts of achievements. Blue UK Jazz Dance out.